KFC Cheats a Zinger. Available for a limited time. KFC, it's finger-licking good. The time by KFC is...
We continue to look at the issue concerning rideshare companies. We take a different perspective on the program this evening. We're going to look at the technology disruptor that the transport disruptor, beg your pardon, that the rideshare services are, and of course the technology disruptor that they are, and look at how to craft a regulatory environment that accords with international standards and puts the rideshare companies which operate globally in a position to abide by Jamaica's rules and offer the same high quality, secure services so that the commuters and the drivers can feel safe on either side. That's the issue this evening as your personal journalist that I'm lifting for you, and I have a special guest, an expert, to wade into the discussion. Let's start each story. Welcome back to Lead Story. So this is part 2 of a discussion we started on Thursday's show, where we spoke to an academic. He is a lecturer in the Department of Computing at the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies, Dr. Paul Gaynor. And I also spoke with Dr. Sean Jones, the Chief Executive Officer of Ride Jamaica. It's an app-based rideshare company, and he has been operating Ride Jamaica since 2016, largely in the tourist capitals, tourist centers. Yes, there's one tourist capital, Montego Bay, the tourism centers in the country, Mobe, Negril, and of course Ocho Rios. And he says that since 2016 there has been no reported incident involving an altercation between a driver and a passenger, incident-free. And he says that he understands and agrees with the ban because the ban is necessary to make a hard reset, to apply a hard reset to the rideshare business. Today, we are taking things up a notch by speaking with the founder and the CEO of the Amber Group, Deshant Savadia. Deshant is also Jamaica's special envoy where technology is concerned, so it's proper to refer to him as Ambassador Savadia. Ambassador Savadia, welcome to Lead Story, sir.
Hi, very, very good evening. How are you?
I'm very good. We understand it's very early where you are. You're in India?
Yes, I just traveled to India for a week, heading back home early next week. But it's very early. It's 4 a.m. in the morning, but still happy to join. It's an important matter for Jamaica. I know both sides of the paradigm, those who have been in the rideshare business for many years, are in a state of shock. And also at the same time, the crime situation in Jamaica and the unregulated somewhat of rideshare softwares that have been active in Jamaica also is problematic. So I think it's an important discussion, and I decided to wake up early to participate, and it's important for Jamaica too.
Excellent, excellent. Just before we get into it, Ambassador, I just want to share with you and the viewers these comments from the Minister of Transport, Daryl Vaz, after he announced the ban on rideshare companies during his contribution to the sectoral debate in the House of Representatives. So after that, he said this about the issue of the ban on rideshare.
All of a sudden, everybody is coming out of the woodwork. So it has had its effect in terms of getting everybody onto the table. As we speak, there's a meeting taking place at the Transport Authority with the steering committee and members of the local transportation sector, including those who have apps or have designed apps, and we'll be working through with them. In relation to Uber, as I said before, I understand that's a very popular rideshare app. And I can say, as I said in Parliament yesterday, that they did come to the table with me 6 weeks or 8 weeks ago, and they have continued to be in touch with the Transport Authority, working out certain protocols in relation to their platform and how we can access information for security checks, etc., to satisfy ourselves. So I think that one will also be resolved. But the bottom line is that as Minister, I had to do what I did to basically draw a line in the sand and bring everybody together and make sure that at the end of the day, we have a situation where the government of Jamaica is protecting its citizens, and also those who are doing business in Jamaica are following the rules and regulations set and that include fare structures and otherwise. So I do believe that in the coming days, weeks, we will be able to resolve most of the issues, and I don't see this situation as an open-ended situation because it is in nobody's interest to have the rideshare apps not accessible for the convenience of the commuters and traveling public.
That's the Minister of Transport. He's also in charge of telecommunications, Daryl Vaz, also in charge of energy. Ambassador, you've heard from the minister. You are a well-read man. You're up on the issues. So how do we move Jamaica from a situation where it has a rideshare segment of the public transport sector that is fully formed but does not have the attendant regulations to make the body that is formed operate optimally?
So I think if you look at what has happened over the last few days around the whole rideshare ban, I think there are three spectrums that we need to consider. The spectrum one is there are so many rideshare apps all of a sudden open. You can get a cheap software off the shelf from many open source software, create a brand, put it up on the app stores and launch your own rideshare and hope that drivers and passengers will start using and you make some money. That's the unregulated market that anybody can come up with an app and start a business. And second piece of market is there are legitimate rideshare, local designed, local run rideshare applications who have gone through the rigmarole of making sure the drivers are vetted, there is ground checks on them, they are properly licensed, they are PPV license holders also who are registered on these rideshare apps. Those also got banned in this process, I believe. And then the third part is the proper PPV sections of Jamaica who have phone call based or SMS based calls that you make to call for these taxis. All these three spectrums are key to the economic growth of Jamaica. All these three key channels of business are important. However, like the minister also said in the last message, it is important that Jamaica actually makes it faster to bring all the necessary channels, all the necessary protocols in place so that all of these businesses can coexist and assist Jamaica's economy.
On the point, Ambassador, on the point of coexistence, and I'm very happy you raised that, and point three that you made when you looked at the three areas around which the rideshare business revolves, the PPV operators. There are some, Ambassador Savadia, who I call them Luddites. They are afraid of technology. And you'd, of course, recall in England in the 19th century when they were trying to mechanize certain aspects of manufacturing, there was a group that went around destroying these machines because they felt that machines and technology would destroy the future. So they called themselves Luddites, and they've been known as that ever since. The modern-day Luddite does not want to have anything to do with technology. And they believe that the country, Jamaica, the economy, can do without these rideshare apps and these rideshare-based taxi services. Are they foolish in believing that the country can get where it wants to go without things like these in the economic space?
I mean, you're absolutely right. I think we have to adapt technology. There is no way out and there is no escape. And I think we are also underestimating Jamaican public quite a lot with the 2.1 million smartphone penetration in Jamaica, and we still believe that apps are not in use. I think we are also incorrectly stating our standards that our people have adapted technology with. So I think it's not about the adoption of technology by people. The PPV sector by itself, I think, has to now embrace technology themselves. If so many rideshare companies can come up with apps, why can't the entire PPV community come up with one app or have an app localized to their individual locations wherever they operate? Why in this modern age I need to make a phone call, wait in the phone queue, and then a radio call is happening? I mean, we can get out of it, and all the PPV operators can also understand that having their own rideshare app, which is kind of fully governed in this case because they're monitoring each of those vehicles. I believe there is a vehicle tracker also put into each of these vehicles as mandated by the Transport Authority when they renewed the licenses. A lot of things have been put in place A lot of checks and balances are in place, but I think without moving into a digital economy, I think all the PPV sector will always feel that the rideshare apps are going to take away a market share from them. But if the PPV market itself does not uplift itself and come into the rideshare market, making it accessible, making it easier for the commuters to actually hail a proper licensed cab from them, I think all these problems will go in. And I also think while we are absolutely open for foreign investment to come in and foreign companies to add more techs inside our country, but at the same time, our country all have to adapt and produce more tech and implement more localized technology so that our trade deficit doesn't keep increasing with time, where a lot of these profits are going outside of the country and not actually enriching our own nation.
Yeah. I'm thankful for that. The issue of data security. Again, you're a data man, big data, small data, you know the thing. Here's the thing. Some people say, look, I do not want to have a situation where the police, law enforcement in Jamaica can plug into the database of rideshare companies to get drivers' data because you can't trust government with your data. And you know that that's an argument that's as old as the hills. Is that a view that the government can afford to approach regulating this segment of the business with? Can it afford to think like that as it looks to regulate?
I think it all boils down to one thing. We have to protect our citizens first. Jamaica is pretty unique. We know there is a crime situation, and I don't think it is also fair to say that crime is happening because of rideshare apps. That's also not true. Crime is happening across the board in many different ways and different conditions. Are we saying that no person has ever been kidnapped from PPVs? That's also not true. We've had incidents from PPVs, we've had incidents from rideshare, we've also had incidents in a private vehicle where people get kidnapped, etc., and get shot at also. So I think there is a generic crime issue that Jamaica will need to solve with time, and it's not an easy solution. Many decades have gone, many governments are trying. It is us as people who have to take a vow, take a commitment to come out of this cycle of crime and encourage our society, encourage our neighbors and friends to actually have more patriotic look for Jamaica, and we need to solve this problem. But banning is a great shock to keep, as the minister also stated, banning was a great shock to bring people on a conversation table. But now if everybody is at the conversation table, we have to resolve this matter of putting the right protocols, structures, governances, etc., as fast as possible, because also remember, Jamaican economy is also thriving on transportation. There are many drivers who will now suffer, who will not have food to eat, who will not have the economic means that they had for many years. We have to be very considerate. On one hand, we're trying to resolve unemployment issue, and we're bragging that we are down to 4.2% unemployment. At the same time, when we create such environments, we also have to expedite the processes to put things in so that this ends as fast as possible and people can earn and live a good life.
Yes. After the break, Ambassador, I want to talk about the way forward, the regulatory framework that you would advise the government to begin crafting and the thoughts that should go into how this segment of the business will look after the effect of this shock has worn off. This is Lead Story here on CVM TV.
Gospel Star 2023 Rewind, Sundays at 8 p.m. right here on CVM TV. See the 10 talented finalists vie for the title of Gospel Star 2023. You don't want to miss the rivalry and eliminations each week. That's Gospel Star 2023 Rewind, Sundays at 8 p.m. right here on CVM TV.
It all starts here. The JTA Sagicor National Athletics Championships, where Jamaica's future track and field stars begin their journey to greatness. June 7 and 8, National Stadium. Come out and watch our future stars shine. Admission only $300. Don't miss the 39th staging of the JTA Sagicor National Athletics Championships. June 7 and 8, National Stadium.
The time by Grace. Taste that moves you is
6:45.
This is Lead Story on CVM TV. We're talking about regulating the segment of the public transport sector in which the rideshare companies operate, consequent upon the ban imposed by Transport Minister Daryl Vaz, and how that, what that means for the companies going forward, how they'd have to retool, how the sector will look going forward with this now regulated space within which the operators will have to do their business and drivers earn their bread. I have with me the founder and the CEO of the Amber Group and Jamaica's Special Envoy for Technology, Dushyant Savadia. So now, Ambassador, given what you know about what happens internationally and the realities of Jamaica, Jamaica is unique in many respects. Most markets have some uniqueness about them. How does the government now go about setting the rules within which, with which the companies will have to interact as they do this business of offering rideshare to commuters?
No, I think there is plenty of framework already in place for PPVs, for example. They go through a proper check, etc. But I think from the app-based rideshare is concerned, why was this ban created in the first place? This was for safety and security issues that came along with these apps who are mostly foreign. They are applying a digital application in Jamaica, and then drivers onboard themselves with some documents that they have to submit. And there is this also the consumers who actually download these apps and start interacting with that service. But if you look at the safety and security as the primary issue, why this ban came, the first thing is to my mind, driver background checks have to be compulsory, mandated, and it has to have a comprehensive background checks for all drivers, including criminal history, driving records, and identity verification. That means the government will also need to allow some sort of a API or some sort of a bridge that the rideshare app can also go and check with the government database of certain checks that are to be performed by the rideshare app itself. So it needs a two-way interaction. It's not going to be one-way rule for following, but the government will also need to create some sort of a framework in which the rideshare applications can actually connect back into the government's framework to check whether or not, because see, for example, we have the credit check bureau. If you want to apply for a bank loan, what happens? It goes through a credit check. There are credit rating companies in Jamaica. The banks will go into those credit rating companies' records and connect with them to check, hey, can I loan this person this amount of money? What is the financial history? What is the financial health of this particular customer? So similarly for the rideshare apps also, we will need to build some sort of a credit check system where the external applications who are licensed to be operational in Jamaica will need to go back and check with that database if this particular driver and this particular vehicle are suitable and allowed. One. Second, vehicle inspections. A lot of these accidents, a lot of these issues that also come there is, we are also driving hard our emission standards in Jamaica. So the regular inspections, how do you ensure that all of these vehicles who are on the road and mostly privately owned non-PPV vehicles or PPV vehicles, how are they inspected? How is it that you mandate that they upload a video, upload a photo from an application of the transport authority to ensure that these vehicles are safe to be driven? Yeah. Then the biggest thing I think is the in-app safety feature, which is all the apps should have some sort of a emergency button, ride tracking, driver passenger rating system. And in fact, the government of Jamaica and the Transport Authority have an app which I think people are not using. That is why we are also seeing these kind of issues. There is an app called Travel Pal, I believe, which was launched by the Transport Authority a few years ago. The travel app was designed for the same purpose of providing driver safety or the passenger safety, that before you leave, you actually send your loved ones where you're starting from, where you're ending. It also automatically checks for you if the vehicle you've gotten into is licensed, registered or not. And there was a plan ahead to add a panic button into it. And that panic button would connect back with the police station.
Yeah, could you repeat the name of the app, Ambassador?
It's called the Travel Pal.
Travel Plan.
Travel Pal. P-A-L.
Travel Pal, P-A-L. Yeah, Travel Pal. Oh, okay.
It's a beautiful app designed for public safety that Jamaica hasn't embraced yet. That app is active. You can download it from the App Store. And that app was designed for the same purpose, to protect our citizens. That means when you jump into the vehicle, before you jump in, you scan the license plate of the vehicle. It tells you if this vehicle is suitable and is the right vehicle with the right driver, is it licensed or not, and it is insured or not. There are many things that come across to confirm that you're entering into a vehicle which is safe. Once you've gotten inside, you're also putting your destination. It is picking up your existing location anyway, and it picks and you add your destination, where you're going, and then you can share that ride with anybody you want to in the loved ones who can track you for that whole trip. Once you come off the trip, it closes by itself, all the data is erased, you're good. But while you're on the trip, if something happens, then at least the other person who's watching you drive can see if there is an issue. You have a panic button inside that you can send a notification to your loved one, hey, I'm in trouble, can you please help? And I think that particular app needs to be linked to the police command center.
That's where I was going. That's where I was going, because I wanted to know if it is that the rideshare companies, after the problems are sorted out and going forward, if in the case of an emergency, so a young man or a young woman sends a message that they're in distress having boarded a certain rideshare, and so a security report is made. If it is that the rideshare company then takes charge of the tracking of the vehicle, or that distress call automatically goes into the rideshare system, but it also goes to police command center, so the police can track the movement of the vehicle without having to depend on the rideshare company as an intermediary to tell them about the movement of the vehicle.
Absolutely. And also, if you take an example of Dubai, now in Dubai, you cannot run a taxi without having a vehicle tracker in the vehicle. You just cannot, because these are the tools like the Travel Pal app, which is free of cost. It doesn't cost the passengers anything. Download, use, it adds the safety that you're looking for. And also, like you said, if that app, Travel Pal app, is then connected back to the government agencies for response, if there is a panic hit by the passenger, if they feel threatened and if they're kidnapped or whatever, there are a lot of things that we can actually do and improve these services we have. And look, there is a premium market. There is a lot of private security companies in Jamaica. And I think it's time when these private security got involved into the PPV market, into all of these ride-share companies, and provide that additional support at an additional fee. I don't mind paying 300 Jamaican dollars more for a ride, just to know that somebody else is actually watching that ride too. And if I'm kidnapped, I can hit a panic button and somebody will respond and help me out.
Here's the thing. So you said a lot there, Ambassador, and one of the things I'm going to take from it to pose a question to you with is this. Do you believe that whether traditional PPV taxi or one of those operating under the rideshare banner that is not by day or ordinarily a PPV, that every vehicle offering a public transport service, including even the JUTC, the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, every public passenger vehicle, once you're transporting people, whether one alone, a rideshare or otherwise, that the vehicle must be fitted with a tracking device?
I'm not saying that a vehicle must be fitted by tracking device, because there are many alternative ways also. For example, if it's a ride share, then automatically remember there is a location of the driver at all times. It's always visible. But I'm also saying that the Transport Authority has already mandated the tracking device to be put in. When you go for a renewal of your license, they will ask you to show the certificate of installation. If you have a vehicle tracking or not. But what is happening with the data, how that data is regulated, how that data is defending us against crime, I'm not sure of that. But I'm not saying vehicle tracking is necessary, because there is another alternative form of tracking. Because when you're on a ride share application, especially, you have the driver location, you're in the car, so you have the vehicle location of where you are also with the vehicle moving along on the road, and somebody else can also watch you. So I think it is fulfilling a lot of needs of a tracking device, although the tracking device does make it a lot more potent in terms of the governance of the vehicle being on the right route, being on the right road, going from the right location to another location based on the passenger's request.
Yeah. Ambassador, I'm almost out of time. I just have 20 seconds to ask you this. You don't believe that the problems that have given rise to these decisions and the decision itself, that where we are now is a bad place. You only see the right decisions being made from here on in to create an environment for rideshare to operate in a manner that gives confidence in those who use these services.
I believe the decision was right, because that shock brought everybody out into the open. Everybody is now discussing, everybody is on the table, and unitedly we are thinking, how do we make this space more regulated and save more lives going forward?
That's it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for staying up, rising early in India. You said it was after 4 a.m. when you joined us. Really appreciate it, and always value the perspective.
Thank you.
Yep. Well, just to close with my perspective, I think we're at a good place. I said that on Thursday, and I'm going to continue saying this. This was what was needed, I believe, to wake up everybody in these sectors. Safety is paramount. You can't have a situation where you have a service being offered where the public petrified, especially women, and the government does nothing. So those who are saying it's a knee-jerk reaction, yes, it was knee-jerk, but not because it was knee-jerk means that it was the wrong decision. And I think it was informed by a set of circumstances that any government in a similar position should make the same decision, make the same move if the problem was at their doorstep. What from now is the important thing. What do these stakeholders get together and do? What does policy look like? What does the regulatory environment look like? It shouldn't take 6 months to put this all together, because we all know what to do. We all know what are the things that will work, because we have the examples of rideshare operating in 300 plus cities across the world. To use an example, this is impatient of solution. The minister should go forth now, and no more than 30 days he should come back to the country to say these are the regulations, this is how the space will operate from here on in. That's my time. It's been a pleasure doing the show for you this week. We break for the news at 7.